Guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at one of my favorite filming spot locations. Even though it's 100 degrees today with 100% humidity, we're still filming, and we got this car for you. What is it? It's a 2023 Mazda CX-30. Guess what? Turbocharged with all-wheel drive. But before we get into this small size Mazda with some big usability, let's talk about what's going on here. I think one of the hottest segments in the auto industry has got to be subcompact. Subcompact includes vehicles like the CX-30, obviously the Honda HR-V, the Nissan Kicks, and there's a newcomer to the table, the Dodge Hornet. Now, what's interesting about the Hornet is it's a little bit larger than the CX-30, but it's still not considered a compact crossover SUV. Both of them come turbocharged, 4-cylinder power plants. One has an 8-speed automatic, one has a 6-speed automatic, but both are promising good drivability, but also good usability. So what I want to find out is, do you go with the brand that used to be all about the zoom zoom? I really missed that. I missed that whole zoom zoom thing. Do you go with the Mazda CX-30, or are you going to go with where the brotherhood is at with the new Dodge Hornet? Let's go ahead, let's dive into the CX-30 and find out. Right off the bat, the proportions. You can see the smaller size. This is the entryway into the Mazda crossover SUV family. The next step up would be a CX-5, CX-50, and of course the all-new CX-90. Now at the front of the business, you're gonna notice some really great styling to the headlights. I love the way they did the work to the LED daytime running lamps, which are the halo style. You have your headlights, which are LED, and you also have way down below your LED turn signals. Really slim, very trim, nothing fake, smooth, sleek bodywork. Now, I'm not a big fan of chrome, but it kind of does work on this. I think I would prefer polished aluminum, or I always love their carbon editions where they have that metallic black. Now, on the lower side, you are gonna get a bit of cladding, and that's probably one of the downsides for me on the CX-30. Compared to the bigger brother, the CX-5, this has a little bit more plastic cladding, definitely more than the Dodge Hornet. Now, as we come across the front nose, love the way it's low slung, very sleek. You have this individual diamond pattern that has this gloss black, the Mazda logo, and a forward-facing camera. And if you ever notice, the trim, the chrome trim, actually mimics the Mazda logo. That's where they get the design. You'll have that large lower area opening, fully functional, and you have that plastic lip that extends out just a tad. Now, when we get up onto the hood, clean, simple lines. Everything has a nice flow to it. It's that specific Mazda way of doing their design. The Dodge Hornet, they try to take a little bit more aggressive approach to the front grille, and especially the hood, because the Dodge Hornet has those functional heat extractors. Now, when we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So on the CX-30, you're looking at an 18-inch wheel. Gloss black, split spoke design, nice, clean, just like the rest of the body. 215 on the width, 55 series sidewall. I'll have to admit, the Dodge Hornet, you could get, especially on the top trim, because this is the top trim of the CX-30, you do get 20-inch wheels. So it definitely kills it in the wheel game, and you could get those Brembo calipers, which are kind of nice to have that, not only the style, but also the better braking capability. We do have all-wheel drive on this particular one, and we do have the turbocharger underneath the hood. So we'll get to that in a second, but like I pointed out, it's the cladding that isn't my favorite, and that's the zonk, whereas on the Dodge Hornet, it's much, much lower, much lower. Now, as we come down the side of the vehicle, you do have gloss black on the mirror caps, slim LED turn signals, some bright shiny metalwork only on the bottom of the window frames, polished style aluminum roof rails, and we have a standard size sunroof. You'll see a little bit more of the cladding. I just wish they would just drop it down a little bit. As we work our way back, that sleek style, even with our quarter window, they did the trim nice. And then when we spin it around back, just like the headlights, I love the freaking taillights. Very European supercar-esque, the way they do the LED lighting. They extend out sleek. You have a stubby roof spoiler, and because it is stubby, there's no place to put the wiper. So I'm not gonna zonk that, but I do like the way that they create this gloss black area rather than just having it white all over the place. We have our CX-30 badge, all-wheel drive, just to let you know what we have. And we have the turbo badge on the other side, which is a nice touch. Working our way all the way down, you have some more plastic cladding, but you do have an exhaust finisher on each side, slash cut, round opening, stainless steel tip. Why don't we go ahead though? We've seen the outside. Let's compare underneath the hood to the new Dodge Hornet. Guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. You have a prop rod on the Dodge Hornet as well. Underneath the hood, semi-tasteful engine cover with the Mazda badge. What do we got underneath it? That's a 2.5 liter inline four turbocharged engine pumping out 256 horsepower, 320 pound-feet of torque. Now the Dodge Hornet does produce more horsepower, about 30 more horsepower, but this does have 320 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 6-speed automatic. Dodge Hornet has an 8-speed automatic. 0 to 60 though, in this pint-sized Mazda is about 5.7 seconds, quarter mile in 14.1, and the top speed is governed to 128 miles per hour. Vehicle weighs 3,472 pounds, MPGs 22 in the city, 30 on the highway. So nice to see Mazda bring that turbocharged fun to the lineup. I just wish that they would bring back that full zoom moniker and definitely have some Mazda speeds. Like, could you imagine if this was a Mazda Speed CX-30? That would be something really interesting. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see it go. All right, guys, we're inside this pearlescent white, sparkling Mazda CX-30. I had to move it into the shade because I am just sweating all over the place. Pretty soon I'm going to sweat all over the lens of that camera. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I need something smaller for my daughter. She told me that if I buy her a car, she'll actually move out. And she's been living under my roof for 37 years. So I don't care. I'm at the point now where I'm like, tell me what you want, I'll buy it. But I also want to be smart because after she moves out, I'm turning her room into a man cave and I can't wait and I need some cash for that. How much is this Mazda CX-30? So this being the turbo with all-wheel drive, you're looking at MSRP of $35,000. Let's see how it stacks up against the competition. To the door panels. You have two-tone material. It's interesting, not my favorite. It's black soft touch material, but then you have this like Hershey's dark chocolate brown. And I don't know why they do that. And they do it on all the different colors of the exterior. I'd rather just have all black, to be honest with you. You'll notice the Bose signature on that gloss black by the switchgear for the sound system. You do have some gloss black on the door handle as well, where you lower and raise the window. Door pockets on the tighter side, so you're gonna wanna stick to maybe some churros from Costco and a bottle of Dr. Pepper to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, I do love the materials. The materials are very high level, much nicer than the Dodge Hornet. You got the stitching. It's just a two-tone. This is dark black, that's dark chocolate. Not my favorite, but I do like the materials. I love the way they thought about make this design all unison. Even though this isn't an AC vent, they wanted to make it all blend in with the AC vents. Come on in. Where you're gonna probably be let down a little bit is the infotainment system. Now, I don't mind it. I don't need a touchscreen. This is not a touchscreen. You can't use it as a touchscreen. You can touch it, it just doesn't do anything. It's an 8.8-inch screen, and the reason why I'm zonking it is that it could be larger. The Dodge Hornet has a 10.25-inch infotainment system screen, so just make it a little bit larger. Using the rotary dial control knob is not a big deal. It really isn't. Try it out. I promise you, it's not as big of a deal as everybody's making. Throw it into reverse. I love the resolution on the cameras. Super clear. You got your trajectory and the 360. So you should feel pretty good about that. Working our way down, we got our dual climate. Nice classy controls, got a nice click every time you use them. 3 stages of heated seats. I just wish that there were some ventilated seats, especially today in Florida. You do have a heated steering wheel, but there's no way in hell I'm using that. Start stop button, Twinkie tray. 2 cup holders. And then the thing is that you gotta be careful with what cups you put in here, because you can't really put a water bottle, like, here's a water bottle, it almost takes up all the room. So if you have a Yeti can, you're gonna have to put your Yeti can in between your legs. And if you're trying to have kids and you're a guy, that may not work very well. Key fob, it's a decent key fob, nice size. Reminds me of a Zippo lighter a little bit. This is gonna control our 6-speed automatic transmission. Of course, we have our volume control knob right here. This is that direct drive control knob to work the infotainment system. And then all you have to do to go into sport mode is just click up, shut sport mode off. That's it. That's all we need. That's it. Nice soft material with the stitching. Oh, wait, it slides, but then it also opens. You got a 12 volt, 2 USB A's, and you got enough room in here. I would say 16 packages of Reese's peanut butter cups. And I am a big fan of Reese's peanut butter cups. I would probably eat all 16 of them. I probably wouldn't share with you. That's why I was never a fan of Kit Kat, because Kit Kat, they want to make you, they tell you to break off a piece and give it to somebody. The hell with that. I want all the Kit Kat. I'm not sharing my Kit Kat with anybody. Seats, soft leather, love the perforated material. The problem is, even on the top trim, the Zonk manual seat controls for the passenger. The good news is the driver has electric assist, and then you have a standard size sunroof. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this CX-30. Right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have your seat controls down below, and you do have 2 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. I'm 6 feet tall. I like the amount of room we have. Even with the sunroof, it's a nice space. Steering wheel. Mazda does a great wheel. Leather all the way around. Simple on the horn button. You have flat black and silver buttons on the switch gear. Small paddles, but that's okay to go up and down the 6-speed automatic. And then I like the gauges. You have that digital display in the center, which looks just like an analog speedometer. You could scroll through a cornucopia of information there. And look at that. You bring back the needle. Check it out. Boom. There it is. As we back away, you do have a head-up display, and I like the fact that they still give you an analog tach, coolant gauge, and fuel gauge. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see if your passenger is going to enjoy the CX-30. All right, guys, back here in the CX-30 Turbo all-wheel drive. Good news is I'm still 6 feet tall, not even close to the headliner. Backs of the seats have the leather. I like the way they carve out some space to give you even more room for your legs. You do have AC vents. The big zonk is you have no connectivity, so that's a bummer. So I have a pocket on my side. What I'm gonna put here is the Sears wish book. I don't know about you, but growing up, that was the one thing right around November would come in the mail, and you'd be able to get your Christmas list ready for Santa. I would have that catalog back here because you have no connectivity, so forget that. But comfortable space. You do have probably one of the world's softest armrests with 2 cup holders, and I do like the quality of the seat material. But why don't we get into the cargo area and see if big things can fit in small packages in the CX-30. All right, guys, cargo area time. What's nice is you hit that button, you have nice electric assist. On the medium side, you're gonna be greeted to 20 cubic feet of space with the seats up. Obviously, the seats fold down 60-40 to give you even more room. One of my favorite parts is look at how low the cargo floor is. What's nice is that you have a nice ledge here so that when you're going to the grocery store and you have your watermelons and cantaloupes and honeydews, if you park this on an incline, they're not all gonna roll out. On the interior, everything, like I said, they give you little nooks to give you some space for some boxes of Twinkies. And then underneath, the great news is we got the subwoofer for the Bose sound system, and you got a spare. A lot of brands getting rid of spares. We got it on the Mazda, but you know what? If you're ready, I'm ready. I know Mazda doesn't say zoom zoom anymore, but let's go zoom zoom here on Rady's Rides. All right, guys, we're rolling out in this Mazda CX-30 Turbo. I'm gonna come to a complete stop real quick, and then we're gonna go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. I'm using the paddles to shift. And that allows you to feel a little bit more connected with what's going on with the vehicle. Now, to actually take full advantage of it, you do have to shut the traction control off. So that's something, just be aware that if you want to use the paddles and rev out, especially first gear, you got to have the car with the traction control turned off. but still very responsive, very peppy. And you know what? A 0 to 60 time of around 5.6 seconds is actually quite respectable for this kind of vehicle. I mean, with the weight and the size and everything, and you have all-wheel drive, confidence-inspiring traction, that's going to allow you to really enjoy the whole operation of driving. You do have blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, all those different goodies to keep you and your family safe. And another thing that's a nice, pleasant surprise is that visibility is great in here, especially out the front. You have a nice wide view of the road in front of you. And now we're gonna go, I'm gonna put it in automatic mode. On throttle, here we go. Smooth shifts from the 6-speed automatic. And, you know, this 2.5 liter engine, Mazda's been using it for a while, so reliability is there. I think that would be one of the things I'd be afraid of with the Dodge Hornet is reliability with that power plant that is in the Dodge Hornet. And remember, we're talking about the ICE version, the internal combustion engine version. I'm not talking about the plug-in version. That's a totally different ball of wax. That vehicle is almost $15,000 more than this one is. It's actually a little bit more than $15,000. But as you can see, going down the road, it's very smooth. Even with a 6-speed automatic transmission, I know everybody and their mother's like, it's gotta have a 10-speed, it's gotta have a 40-speed. You're still only turning 1,800 RPM. And yes, fuel economy isn't the greatest, but I definitely have seen worse in this segment. The 8.8-inch infotainment system, like I said, I think my biggest complaint is that it's not larger. You have all this dead space, use it. I know most people, their complaint would be that it's not a touchscreen, but watch how easy it is. You hit the home button, and then you just use the direct drive control knob to get into whatever you need. And the best part is, no fingerprints. So you don't have all this KFC grease. You know, you got done eating KFC, a drumstick, and then you touch the screen. Now you got the Colonel's special recipe sauce on the screen. Nobody wants to see that. I definitely don't want to touch that. So it's nice to just use the direct drive control knob. Or better yet, just wipe your hands before you go to touch something if you're eating greasy chicken. Head-up display, clear, tells me my speed, also tells me what the speed limit is, which is nice. And then something that Mazda does very well is they sprinkle into all their vehicles a nice, fun driving experience. And that's the thing is that this is the type of vehicle that on a twisty type road, you're gonna be able to enjoy it because it actually, with the all-wheel drive system, handles very nicely. We're gonna go on throttle from a dead stop and this light turns green though, to show, of course, the all-wheel drive, once again, using the shifter as just automatic. It's just gonna automatically shift the transmission, and we're in sport mode. So as soon as that light turns green, we're gonna go on throttle. Seats feel comfortable, nice to have a sunroof. I know many people wanted to have a panoramic sunroof, but still feels good, which is nice. It's just the brown is kind of throwing me off a little bit. I'm not into a brown interior, but on throttle, here we go. No slip, all grip. I do like the sound inside the cabin. It's nothing too atrocious. The four-banger isn't like screaming for its life, which is nice. And like I said, very direct feel in the steering wheel. That's something that Mazda always does, and I always can appreciate that because I am the type of person that wants a driver's car. I don't want to drive around a marshmallow. That's not fun, at least for me. Maybe it is for you, but not for me. But just overall, a very well-balanced car. You got plenty of cargo space, seating for 5 adults, and like I said, the dual climate control, the nice finishes on the interior. But let me know what you think in the comment section about the overall review of this vehicle. If you're liking this more than the Hornet or vice versa, we're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another fun-filled day with this Mazda. I want to definitely thank the whole Mazda USA team for letting us have access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Is Mazda the right answer? I know Miata is always the answer, but is Mazda the right answer if you're going for a subcompact crossover SUV? You want a little bit of zip, you want a little bit of all-wheel drive, but you also want some nice touches on the interior? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Ladies Rides family. He's sweaty, he's hot, and he wants a smoothie. Who's that? Stephen Flood. Stephen Flood Photography, working the camera like a champ. Right now what he's doing is he's collecting all of his sweat drops into a big jar, and he's gonna sell that on eBay. So we'll see how that goes for you, Stephen. Thank you for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.